popular demand, we're checking out Vanessa Hudgens' Architectural Digest interview. Let's jump right into it.
Hey AD, I'm Vanessa Hudgens. Welcome to my home. Come on in.
Off the bat, I want to say I love the ivy cladding the house. A lot of people don't like it because it's high maintenance, but I'm a fan.
So this is the Little DeMille. It was built by Cecil B. DeMille for his mistress. Therefore, this is the Little DeMille. Over here we have Cecil B. DeMille, the man himself, kind of clocked as like the Hollywood grandfather of cinema. So we have to have a moment here honoring him since he built this for his mistress. This is the living space. Got the piano, which does...
See, this is gorgeous. I love a piano in the living space. It kind of brings that warmth, but as a piano owner myself, I will tell you, they always say, do not put the piano in direct sunlight. It'll make it out of tune and it will ruin the paint. -1 point, Vanessa.
Doesn't really get used that often. This is all I remember from most part. Anyways. Wanted it to feel really French because the land is very French and vibey. There's olive trees everywhere. So I really wanted to play into that with the space. And I wanted it just to be really like casual and relaxed and cozy. I'm a big fan of candlesticks, so you will notice them.
Ooh, this is a good little Easter egg. Appears to have restored the floorboards here and in this wishbone pattern. It's very contemporary, but it adds in that old characteristics.
Everywhere. I just loved this mohair sofa that I found at a vintage shop. A lot of the pieces I found are vintage pieces, like little tavertine stacking tables. I got a vintage movie poster, which is Breathless, an amazing French film. I'm obsessed with this. It's this artist named Peter Tomka. He does these projection silver gelatin prints, and it's his friend from high school. She wrote a murder mystery play, and this was a shot that he got from it. I love it.
I like that she chose to not put any sort of drapery on the blinds in that living room. I love the natural light. She painted it all white. Great, great choice.
I also really love vintage books. Finding old books all over the world is one of my favorite things to do. I found these little guys in Scotland at a little vintage bookstore along with these original prints of Emma. These are just like all French love stories. We have my one and only Natalie Wood. Fox actually gave this to me after I did Grease Live as a present. This I got because I was like, this would be so cool to have an old school clock that chimes. And then it started chiming, and every time it chimed, I would jump out of my skin and be like, that was a great idea. Practically terrifying, but you know, it looks cute. I love big plants. I think it's so important to just bring life into your home.
I totally agree, Vanessa. One plant for every 127 square feet per the CDC.
As you can see, my Monstera is doing very well, and we just love big, big bouquets. My friend and designer extraordinaire, Chad Wood, helped me and styled this house and put together the most amazing bouquets and arrangements. Oh, and the floors. The floors were a big selling point for me.
I knew she'd mention the floors.
I saw this house. Gary Oldman lived here before me, and he put these in. They're 18th century French oak from an old chapel in Europe. So cool. When I bought the house, these doors were probably from the 50s. They did not open at all, so I had these made to just give it some air, which is so necessary in LA. My little breakfast nook that I'm very proud of.
Breakfast nook. This is a trend coming back. I'm seeing it a lot. I love how she just did it so simple. Round dining table, some wallpaper. It made it much more cozy. What more can you ask for?
I got this wallpaper that I fell in love with from House of Hackney. There's like little mushrooms and dragons. I got this made after a restaurant that I'm obsessed with in New York called Maison Premiere, and it just feels like you're in New Orleans in the 20s. I eat here when it's like one or two of my other friends, but we normally just end up dancing around the table. Ends up being a great dance floor.
Ooh, the kitchen. Now, Vanessa Hudgens started this trend of green kitchens. I'm gonna call it right here. I'm a fan because she didn't go too overboard. It's so easy to get carried away, but the simplest touches make the biggest difference. You can see she has this gorgeous green cabinetry, white quartz countertops, and then gold accent hardware. It's a classic, we love it.
Kitchen. When I bought the house, this kitchen was very, very different. It was all white. There were red knobs on all the cabinetry. And during the pandemic, I was home so much. I was like, this would be the time to do a remodel for the kitchen. And so I took it upon myself to have a project and put it all together. I wanted the floors to feel kind of Italian, so we did the tavertine. I opened the shelving up, and this tile is actually leftover tile from the remodel of my bathroom, and it was sitting in the basement, and I was like, that would work.
Reduce, reuse, recycle. That's what she's trying to say here. You heard her say it again and again and again. She reused the tiles. She reused the flooring. She reused this. I love it. Honestly, this is off to a great start.
So, put that here, made it just really earthy. There's a lot of plants, there's a lot of fruit. I have an abundance of citrus and avocados. I don't really cook that often. Once in a blue moon it happens, but I'm very proud of my Cali water fridge. We gotta stay stocked, keep everybody hydrated. I just love quirky, unique things about homes, and this is definitely one of them. I don't know if it's like from a boat or a submarine, but it's just so cool. And also to have a swinging door. Here we have our dining room. I wanted it to feel very romantic.
It's nice, big formal dining room. You see she has this farm table, very classic. It kind of fits the vibe of the house.
Table to kind of play off of the pattern of the floors. Once again, like 1950s Italian chandelier. Just keep it really organic and kind of neutral, since this opens and flows into the olive trees. This is the powder room, which I just love so much. It has these tiles.
These tiles are definitely original. You can tell by the way they're laid, this is a classic pattern. Secondly, wallpaper, good job.
I feel like it's probably been here since the 50s.
Bingo.
But this wall was painted red, like bright red. So knowing that I wanted it very old school, old Hollywood, I found this wallpaper by House of Hackney. And I feel like it just gives it that old Hollywood vibe. Of course, since this is old Hollywood home, I had to have Richard Avedon portrait of Marilyn Monroe. I love this piece so much because we're all so used to Marilyn smiling brightly and just being the goddess that she is. But this just seems like an in-between moment, like she's really lost in thought. And it just seems like a very vulnerable, personal image of her.
That's like the face I make when the cashier asks me, oh, do you want to see your bank balance?
Which is what you kind of want to see when you're going to the bathroom, right? You feel safe. Since this is just like all white walls, I wanted to bring some big art pieces into this space. This is by an artist named Kader Bole. He was born in Africa and moved to Paris when he was like 20 to pursue his dream. His stuff's just so cool. This piece, my girlfriend, her husband is the artist. His name's Fernando Garcia, and I just thought this was so cool. It says Libre Pensador. It's kind of like a commentary on how society wants to keep us inside of the box, but it's our jobs to be outside thinkers, which we support and love. This is my bedroom. I wanted it to be very feminine, so I feel like, of course, there's going to be a lot of celebrating the woman form in my bedroom. I found this piece by an LA artist named Eliza Valenti. I just love the colors. I love how it's celebrating women's figures, and they're like full vivacious bodies, and I just think it's so important to see that.
It's kind of nice how she gives credit to every single artist that's mentioned. Not something you see people do all the time. Bonus points.
Reason I just really fell in love with the idea of orange for my bedroom.
Nice pop of color. I can live with it.
So I got these velvet orange curtains. Once again, very important to have plants that you love on. I got this sofa that I love the shape of. I'm obsessed with this quilt. It's from Nikki Kehoe and it's reversible. And I just love that it adds texture to the space. These sconces I love. I got from this store in LA called Obsolete, and it just gives off like a really dope glow at night. These I had made, which I am just obsessed with. These legs that are thick and kind of have like an Art Deco-y feel to them. And this marble actually goes perfectly with the marble in my bathroom. We love when it all ties in together.
Now this is the part of the video that I've been praying that we get to. I am obsessed with this bathroom. This is the reason we're reviewing this, because this bathroom is just stunning. The word juxtaposition means to compare one thing to another. This all black bathroom is an amazing juxtaposition against the white tones of the rest of the house. This is truly phenomenal.
This is my bathroom, one of my favorite places in the house.
It's nice she added an arch here. I'm sure it didn't come like this. It helps soften and bring in some curves to this otherwise kind of dark and intimidating place. She also has this, what I assume is Venetian plaster on the back wall, adds a little bit of texture and is gorgeous. And then you see she tied in that marble slab, just like she said, for the vanity.
But Jake Arnold to design the space, and I just really wanted it to be sexy and cave-like. This bathtub that I spend so much time in. More candlesticks, as you can see. Here's the marble that matches my bedside tables. And then these are also the tiles that I had so many extra of that I used as a backsplash in my kitchen. All the faucets.
Honestly, we gotta touch on this bathtub. It looks like it's single piece, which would make sense, but how did they get that in there? They must have craned through the window or through the ceiling, because this thing is massive. This reminds me of Drake's bathtub. And then you have the freestanding faucet filler. It's actually a very job well done.
I wanted to be brass, so naturally went to Waterworks. And we did it with the wood on it, because I just love things being really earthy and keeping it like grounded. This is where I shower, welcome the world in the morning. Wanted just a little desk moment for myself to be able to work on scripts at home on. This lamp I'm so obsessed with. It just makes it feel like a little fairyland. My closet, which we don't need to look in because it's kind of a disaster.
Oof, okay, I love this for two reasons. One, teak furniture, you can't go wrong, it's gorgeous. Two, she has all this greenery, shrubbery surrounding her property. It's great.
Of course, everyone loves living in LA for the outdoor space.
Amen, that's why you would pay these high taxes. Don't move here.
And this house does not disappoint. I got these wooden beams made to follow the curvature of the iron that was already here. Eventually, I'm hoping that my vines will grow in and cover all of this, but it's just really taking its time. This is like the side door. I just love how the ivy's growing up it. The ivy over this house is one of my favorite things ever, because when do you get a brick house in LA that's covered in ivy? It's very rare. The maintenance of this house it's a lot. It's definitely a lot.
To give you guys some perspective, everything that you see that is green needs water. And that's a massive house. I'm guesstimating this is somewhere in the 5,000 to 6,000 square foot range on at least half an acre, if not an acre. So you're probably looking at a water bill of 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 a month. It's pretty insane, but I guess when you buy a $8 million house, that's the least of your worries.
We have our pool.
I love the backyard, how it's in zones. This pool is just surrounded by trees. It makes it feel a little bit more intimate, a little bit more private.
Very necessary in LA. One of my friends found this chair at a vintage store. I'm obsessed, especially because it plays into the murals I had painted outside. So when I moved in, this was just a white wall.
This kind of reminds me of the faces at Isabel, or Isabel, as the owner would like to call it. It's gorgeous. I don't know if I'm the biggest fan, but we can live with it.
And I was like, that seems like such a wasted opportunity for something really cool to happen. So I found this artist, Carly Kuhn, who does the coolest single line portraits, and I'm just obsessed. It brings so much life to the place. She also did these. We call them the lovers. Just a little seating area underneath the olive trees. Plumerias are my favorite. My dad always had plumerias around. He would always give me plumeria plants. So this is like my prized possession. This is where I feel like most nights my friends and I all hang out and we turn on the fireplace and share ghost stories. Say hi, Dar. She gets camera shy. So this is the guest house. Originally was built as a carriage house, and now it's just our hangout room.
This is cool. A little space by the pool if you're ever trying to entertain. It looks like it's detached, so you can, get wild and don't need to worry about anybody hearing you.
TV room. As you can see, we have all of my Teen Choice Awards. They've been
She said humble flex.
in the garage for so long, and I finally was like, we should just put them out somewhere. So they have finally found a home. Bookshelf with more books that I have found from all over. I met Kelly Slater when I was going to a bunch of surf US Opens. So he gave me his book signed, which I love. I've got my Annie Leibovitz, which she signed for me when I worked with her. My friends and I are always taking photos. So we have our vintage Polaroid just ready on hand. Got a bunch of really.
I feel like these built-in shelves are really helped make the room. If this wasn't here, it'd just feel kind of boring.
Got stuff here. This piece I am so obsessed with because
Is that Wednesday Addams?
at a certain point of the day, the light comes in and hits it just right and it looks almost like a ghost. It's this artist, Kim Vitran. I saw it on their Instagram and I was like, that is amazing, I need it. And then they sent it over. My favorite part is the little portrait of Darla in the portrait. Kills me. We love a jam session, so there's always some form of instrument in.
These doors are stunning. I think they're metal frame doors with either bronze or a rusted patina. I really like them. It's gorgeous. You're not seeing this in every single house. Bonus points.
All the rooms. And then we have even more land. This massive tree is an avocado tree, and it actually produces fruit. Not that often, but when it does, there's a lot of guacamole. This is a
Very helpful.
grapefruit tree. Then we've got a lemon tree and a lime tree and a kumquat and tangerine tree. So there's just a lot of fruit.
I redact my previous statement. She's for sure on an acre of land, which in Los Angeles is a major feat.
I really wanted a place that you can just run around in and kind of feel like you have a park. We have water balloon fights out here. We do little photo shoots out here. Just run around, and it's so nice to have a space that's open in LA that just allows me and my friends to feel like big kids. I love this little arch entry we have into the secret garden, which doesn't really have that much in because I'm not in it all the time. We have our pizza oven.
Stunning. This is another example of a zone that she used to divide her backyard. When you make these zones, not only does subdividing it make it feel more spacious, it makes it more intimate. Now you see she has a little seating area and then she has her pizza oven here. And I love that it's built in. She could have cheaped out, she could have gotten installed and it would have looked Mickey Mouse. But this looks stunning.
Which actually has been used. The first time, not so successful. We have our big old fireplace and the biggest grapefruit tree, which lights up at night and just is so whimsical and romantic. This is another thing I love about the house. Gas lantern.
This is so impressive, you guys don't even understand. This is a lantern that's literally burning gas. That's the light. So for that to happen, each one of these lanterns, which I'm sure she has 10 around her house, is individually piped. There needs to be a conduit. There needs to be protection so the gas doesn't leak and there isn't a fire. This is not something that's easy. It's a very difficult thing, and it's only in luxury homes. This is impressive.
They're by this company, Bevelot, from New Orleans. They've been around since like the 40s, and I just love when you go to New Orleans, that vibe is kind of spooky. So these lanterns really did it for me. And that is my home.
Everyone has their own opinions. That being said, I happen to love this home. She gave it a lot of character. She added to it, but preserved that historic feel. For that, I think Vanessa Hudgens deserves an 8.7 on her house. Tune in again, you guys, next week. Make sure to hit the subscribe button. I'll see you guys again soon.